Pisces, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead, keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there, and that way you'll get more of a complete picture of what's going on. Okay, Pisces, let's see. For the week ahead, what is the energy around Pisces? We're seeing No Place Like Home in the reversal coming up pretty clearly right away. And Chop Wood. Okay, Pisces. So I think you're getting ready for some divine intervention here that's going to put you in a position where you are yourself. You are being you. And we saw this last week in your reading where you were really being guided to be authentically you, the true you, to do that and to be that and to live that, to embody it so that you're not living a path or walking on a path or living a life that is in opposition to who you really are. You know what I mean? And for some of you, I feel like right now, it means doing what doesn't feel, it means to do what doesn't feel familiar. I couldn't get those words out. It almost feels like right now, if your impulse is to do one thing, that you should actually stop and ask yourself if that really resonates with who you are or what you're embodying. Do you know what I mean? Like it's an interesting time to sort of almost do something outside of your comfort zone to be yourself. So like, you know, it's interesting. I'm sort of being given this example. Like if you're naturally live in a comfort zone that says you don't like to speak publicly, then you have to go speak publicly. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're the kind of person that doesn't like to be the center of attention, go be the center of attention. You know, like it's interesting. It's like being authentically you, but not the wounded version of you. Like I feel like you need to be authentically you. And so if you feel more comfortable hiding out at home or staying sort of outside of social situations, then that might, if you're getting pushed into several social situations, it's time to do it. You know what I mean? Like this Chop Wood card says to me that you might find yourself being sort of in situations where you need to be sort of experiencing that level of humility. You know what I mean? Where you sort of pulling off all of the dead leaves, you're cleaning up areas where you haven't been in a long time because of fear or because of sort of feeling like you don't want to be rejected or whatever. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're taking steps to sort of let nature take its course. Like if things are divinely timely, pushing you in a certain direction and you're like, that's way outside of my comfort zone, then that means go for it for you this week. Do you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. It's almost like it's like you're pruning a tree so that it can grow bigger and healthier. The idea of cutting out certain things that might be keeping you feeling safe to really shine and be yourself. So this is intriguing, Pisces. This is very intriguing. This makes me feel like you need to get in touch with the everyday stuff that you may be sweeping under the rug. You almost need to bring it to light. You need to expose yourself for who you really are instead of hiding. And I feel almost like saying you're playing it small and you need to really step into this a bit more, to do what might make you feel temporarily uncomfortable, but might lead to an outcome that is, you know, really something that is even greater than you can imagine. I feel like that's what's happening here. This is a time where you know, things are sort of not moving necessarily in a linear way. It's almost like things are all happening simultaneously to get you out of your shell, to help you to let go so that you can shine as brightly as you were meant to shine. And I hope that makes sense. It makes sense as I'm saying it, but, it's interesting. It's like you have to really check to see, is this a pattern of behavior that is part of your comfort zone or part of you breaking out of your comfort zone? It's an interesting distinction, right? Let's see what the tarot cards will clarify for you, Pisces. Being yourself in a way where you step out of your comfort zone and you really, really express yourself. Yeah, this is why you're not doing it. You're not doing it because you're like, you know what? I get hurt when I step out of my comfort zone. So my comfort zone is keeping me nice and safe. Thank you very much. And I get that. But just because things haven't sometimes worked out in the past doesn't mean we stop trying. And I feel like for this reading, there's been moments where you've been criticized for being yourself, and you've taken those criticisms to heart, Pisces. And so then you stopped. It's like if someone says to you long enough, hey, stop doing that, you sound silly, or that's ridiculous. It's interesting. It's like you took that internally and you took it to heart, and then you said, okay, well, I'm just going to stop expressing myself. This brings to mind a situation where someone told me once, you're too imaginative. I can laugh about it now, but at the time it really hurt my feelings. And I thought, I'm too imaginative? What the hell kind of comment is that to say to someone? And I think that's exactly what happened here, Pisces. It's like someone said something to you, or several people maybe. It could have been different people, but it jaded you. It left you bitter a little bit, where you're like, well, then I'm not going to express myself anymore. If that's the kind of feedback I'm going to get, then screw it. And then you stifled yourself. And it's almost like your higher power is like, you know what? I've had just about enough of this. And now I'm going to push you out of your comfort zone. So it's like you're getting this loving push from spirit out of your comfort zone, even though I think the last time, or in previous efforts to really be expressive and show who you are and be your true self, you experienced a lot of pain as a result, emotional and mental pain. And then you sort of put the cap on it with this Queen of Swords in reverse, and you became a bit jaded, and you were like, people suck. You know what I mean? That almost feels like it. And you experienced some losses, right? You didn't feel like you belonged. You felt rejected. You felt like ultimately you didn't fit in being yourself. Well, you know what? Now is the time to be yourself and not fit in with certain people, if that's what it takes. Because I feel like the reading is really guiding you here to not take things to heart and to just keep doing you, knowing that when people step up with criticism, it's because they're looking at you as if they were looking at themselves, right? Like, for example, the example I used where someone told me I was too imaginative, that came from a person who is terrified to be imaginative. They're terrified to not be completely logical all the time, right? And so when they were interacting with me, the idea of me being imaginative showed them that how they feel about being really imaginative, and it was scary for them. And so this is an interesting moment of not internalizing external feedback, good or bad, to just be you regardless, right? Not internalizing feedback, good or bad. See, this is what happened. You found that when you internalized it, suddenly it felt like you weren't able to feel emotional fulfillment anymore, because I think you stifled yourself. And now we see justice on the bottom of the deck. You know, I gotta say, friends, this may have come from a Libra, because you've got the Queen of Swords and Justice. So whoever stifled you may have been a Libra. Okay, they may have strong Libra energy in their chart. They could also have this air sign energy, but it does feel Libra-like. It feels like you got 2 hits of Libra here. And this 10 of Cups is your energy, is Pisces. So it's like they hurt you emotionally and they wounded you to the point where you were like, I'm not going to express myself anymore. And then on top of it, it sort of emptied your cup of feeling emotionally fulfilled. They had a big impact on you. This person, this Libra, it almost feels like a Libra. 3 of Swords is also Libra. So it's Libra, Libra, and Libra. So I feel like there was a critical Libra. But remember, Pisces, that Libra is very critical of themselves. That's why they were critical of you. It actually had nothing to do with you personally. And I know that that's hard to hear sometimes. When we internalize something, it feels very personal. Bottom of the deck now is the Lovers. So you have a choice, and it's Lovers upright, which says choose to be you, choose to be vulnerable, choose to express yourself no matter who's around, and trust that if you trigger someone, that just means that you're triggering them with your light. You know, I almost feel like I'm reading for a light worker. I'm reading for a light worker who is hiding their light, and it's actually time to let that light shine. And I know that sounds a little cheesy, but it actually feels really empowering to say that out loud, because I feel like that's exactly what you need to hear, is that you shine no matter what. And sometimes your light will trigger people into seeing where they're blocked. That doesn't mean you internalize it for you. And I think that's part of this life lesson that you're having right now, is that you can let go of some of these emotional letdowns from the past, because I think you're being guided to see them in a different way. I think you're being guided to see them as being indications of other people's feelings about themselves. And there's that 10 of Cups on the bottom of the deck again. So don't internalize these things. Don't let them rain on your parade, which is essentially how I see this card sometimes, especially in this context. Don't let them rain on your parade. You just keep shining and do what even feels like it's outside of your comfort zone. Don't get sucked into the drama of others. There's the King of Cups in reverse. So by getting sucked into their stuff, you just get pulled down into this emotional place where you feel like you need to dim your light. Don't dim your light for anyone else. You just keep shining and don't worry about what other people are thinking. You know that expression that says other people's opinions about me are none of my business. It's so true. It's none of your business. Whether they love you or they hate you is none of your business. You just keep doing what you're doing. Look at all of this. So we're seeing the Queen of Cups. So for some of you, this was a divine counterpart that stabbed you in the heart with their criticism, and they dimmed your light with their words. It almost feels like you sort of in that moment disconnected from yourself intuitively when I see this. And I feel like in order to regain that, you almost have to sort of allow this renewal to take over. This Page of Cups, I think, is coming in to help you rebirth so that you're no longer so susceptible to others' feedback and views about you, their criticisms. It's almost like you have to choose to let that go and to trust yourself and to move towards a direction where you no longer sit under the tree going, oh, I wish I, woulda, coulda, shoulda, like if I had only done the following. It's interesting. I feel like there's a lot of sort of moodiness around this, and it's almost like you need to be grateful, because this is a life lesson opportunity here where you're sort of getting to the lesson part of it, where you're starting to see that by internalizing other people's criticisms, all that does is dim your light. And you're actually being guided to walk away from that kind of emotional place where you're sort of internalizing these things that other people have said or done as being a reflection of you, when actually it's just a reflection of where they're at. And I feel like you're leaving that in the past, or at the very least, you're being guided to leave that sort of way of feeling in the past, and to move forward being authentic, to let your worries of the future go. There is this beautiful new beginning here, and it's like whenever you think about these past things, it's almost like instead of feeling this anxiety, you're almost being guided to say, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I learned that lesson. Now I can shine without internalizing, and I don't need to be loved or hated by anyone. It doesn't matter. As long as I love myself and I'm being true to myself, I will always feel like I'm on the path of a new beginning. And I feel like there is this beautiful quality of this new beginning where you're not feeling jaded anymore by this experience. I feel like you're starting to let it go, and that you're starting to come into this lovely place of being loyal to what you love. Isn't that a beautiful card to draw for you in this moment? It's like really being loyal to what is you, without worrying about how other people are going to receive you or any of that. None of that matters, because ultimately we're all just a mirror for each other. So by shining your light, you give a reflection to others to see themselves in a different way. And at first it's, people tend to project it, right? They tend to say, you this blank, 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 like you're too imaginative. I love that as an example. It kind of came up out of nowhere, but it's this idea of like, that is not about you at all. That's about your imagination being a mirror to someone else, and them looking at themselves in your mirror and saying, I could never be that imaginative. So I'm going to project it onto you and say, you shouldn't be that imaginative. It's interesting, right? It reveals to us where the blocks are for other people, not where they are for us. Your job is to just be loyal to what you love and let other people see themselves in your reflection how they will. Even if they want to communicate to you, it's almost like now that just means that's how they feel about themselves. What a fascinating reading for Pisces this week. Really fascinating. I'm very intrigued to see your comments if this has resonated for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to leave it at that. If it has resonated, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, and of course commenting so that I know this has resonated for you. I appreciate your support so much on the channel, and I look forward to reading for you again. If you are interested in a personal reading, I am offering a special in December where recorded readings will be for $44. So if you're interested in that, please send me an email and we can get that scheduled for you. Okay, my friends, I'm sending you so much love and light this week. Take care.